Bienvenue à la grande finale Cook for Change, the Sustainable Chef Challenge de Sodexo. Nous sommes absolument ravis de vous retrouver tous ici ce soir à la Gaieté Lyrique et je salue également tous ceux qui nous regardent à distance parce que cet événement unique est aussi diffusé en direct sur YouTube ce soir. Welcome to all of you watching us from a distance, of course, and thank you so much for being with us today. Je vais me présenter, je m'appelle Louise Eklund, je suis journaliste et je suis absolument ravie d'être votre guide, votre maîtresse de cérémonie pour cette soirée de célébration. Ce soir, évidemment, nous mettons en lumière la passion et le talent des chefs Sodexo qui sont venus du monde entier pour participer au défi Cook for Change, à savoir créer des recettes délicieuses, healthy et durable, un sujet qui concerne vraiment tout le monde, je pense. Cook for Change est bien plus qu'une compétition, c'est une illustration concrète de l'engagement de Sodexo, de ses partenaires, à explorer des solutions pour une cuisine vraiment responsable. On va en parler toute la soirée ensemble. Au programme ce soir, une immersion, évidemment, dans la grande finale qui a eu lieu hier. C'était vraiment exceptionnel. On a des images exclusives pour vous tous. Nous allons demander à notre jury tout à l'heure de venir sur scène pour commenter ces images et pour nourrir aussi votre réflexion ce soir. Nous avons un invité de marque qui sera avec nous du WWF. L'événement se déroule en deux langues, en français et en anglais. Si vous avez un souci de traduction, n'hésitez pas à utiliser les casques de traduction que vous avez sur votre place. Et si vous nous suivez évidemment à distance sur YouTube, pensez à activer les sous-titres pour profiter de la traduction simultanée aussi pour ne rien manquer. Et pour soutenir, dernière petite chose, nos finalistes, vous pouvez aller sur les réseaux sociaux, partager votre enthousiasme. Vous avez deux hashtags, Cook for Change and Sodexo. Alors avant, évidemment, de vibrer avec les finalistes, on va prendre un temps de réflexion pour comprendre les enjeux de la cuisine responsable, avec, pour commencer, un message de la part de la présidente du conseil d'administration et directrice générale de Sodexo, Mesdames et messieurs, Sophie Bellon.
Chers invités, chers clients, chers partenaires, chers chefs, chers collaborateurs et chers tous qui nous suivez dans cette salle ou à distance. Merci d'être à nos côtés ce soir. Si vous avez fait le déplacement, et parfois de loin, et même parfois de près, mais un peu encombré, c'est que vous partagez notre enthousiasme pour le beau sujet qui nous réunit aujourd'hui, l'alimentation. C'est un immense plaisir de vous accueillir au cœur de Paris, à la Gaieté Lyrique. À l'image de ce lieu innovant, Sodexo repousse sans cesse les frontières de son expertise culinaire en accélérant la végétalisation des recettes. C'est tout l'objet de cette finale, Cook for Change, notre concours international dédié à l'alimentation durable et à la cuisine gourmande. Aujourd'hui, nous célébrons notre vision de la gastronomie de demain, un art qui conjugue santé, goût et respect de la planète. Nous célébrons le talent et la passion de nos chefs venus de Paris et du monde entier. Nous célébrons enfin la capacité de la gastronomie à nous réunir, à nous inspirer et à changer nos comportements. Sodexo a un rôle essentiel à jouer dans cette transformation. La seconde édition du baromètre international de l'alimentation durable Sodexo Harris Interactive montre que l'intérêt pour une alimentation plus saine et responsable est significatif. 74% des personnes interrogées ont une perception positive ou très positive. Et bon nombre d'entre elles sont prêtes à faire évoluer leurs habitudes en vue d'améliorer leur santé. Notre étude le montre, les consommateurs sont avant tout en quête d'idées et d'innovation et d'inspiration. Chez Sodexo, nous voulons être à l'avant-garde de cette transformation. Nous avons les moyens de sensibiliser et de régaler le palais de millions de personnes à travers le monde, tout en contribuant à préserver les ressources de notre planète. Nous le devons au talent extraordinaire de nos chefs. Ce sont eux qui font bouger les lignes chaque jour. Ce sont eux qui font découvrir de nouveaux ingrédients, de nouvelles recettes, de nouvelles saveurs à nos convives. Ce sont leurs efforts au quotidien qui nous permettent d'accélérer cette transformation vers un monde plus durable. Cela tient d'abord à leur incroyable créativité. Elle s'exprime bien sûr dans des plats inédits qu'ils imaginent à partir d'ingrédients parfois méconnus ou oubliés. Elle se matérialise aussi dans toutes les idées qu'ils nous soumettent pour réduire le gaspillage alimentaire. Et je me souviens d'un voyage sur un campus universitaire en Floride, au cours duquel le chef m'avait expliqué et montré comment il transformait la peau verte des pastèques en délicieux pickles. Ces initiatives originales témoignent de la façon dont nos chefs mobilisent leurs talents pour apporter constamment une perspective nouvelle sur les enjeux qui sont les nôtres. Et ces enjeux, ils sont colossaux. Les paradoxes sont nombreux et effarants parfois. Citons-en un seul ce soir. Plus de 800 millions de personnes dans le monde souffrent de la faim et, pourtant, de la fourche à la fourchette, un tiers des aliments sont gâchés. Cela n'a vraiment aucun sens. C'est absurde et même scandaleux. Mais hélas, ce scandale, il est encore largement invisible. Alors, en tant qu'acteur majeur de la restauration, nous avons un rôle essentiel à jouer pour rendre visible ce qui est aujourd'hui invisible. Il faut mesurer, se fixer des objectifs, évaluer nos progressions. Et nous l'avons constaté, quantifier le gâchis facilite la prise de conscience et incite à l'action. Ainsi, depuis 2019, notre programme de collecte et d'analyse des données du gaspillage alimentaire, Wastewatch, a permis une réduction moyenne de moins 40% sur les sites où Sodexo a mis en place le dispositif et nous avons l'ambition d'atteindre 50% en 2025. Pourquoi ? Parce qu'on ne jette pas ce qui a de la valeur. Et c'est précisément ce qui se joue ici, la question de la valeur de l'alimentation. Je tiens à remercier ce soir nos chefs qui sont engagés au quotidien dans ces combats et qui ont donné le meilleur d'eux-mêmes ces derniers mois pour nous surprendre et nous enchanter à l'occasion de cet événement. Je salue également les membres du jury qui ont eu la difficile tâche de départager nos finalistes. Merci enfin à notre invité, Brent Loken de WWF, dont le plaidoyer pour l'alimentation durable viendra nourrir notre action individuelle comme collective. Et aussi à nos équipes de la communication qui ont bouclé les vidéos tard dans la nuit pour que vous puissiez profiter et parler à votre cœur, nourrir votre esprit et aussi enchanter vos sens. Nous avons conçu cet événement pour vous faire vivre un moment de célébration culinaire unique grâce au talent de nos équipes et grâce à nos offres, Modern Recipe, Good Eating Company et le nôtre. Alors, prenez le temps de savourer ce moment, de rencontrer celles et ceux qui portent nos engagements et par qui, par leur passion et leur magie, contribuent chaque jour à transformer la façon dont nous nous nourrissons. Je vous souhaite à toutes et à tous une délicieuse soirée. Merci.
Merci Sophie pour vos mots. Alors, vous le savez sûrement, nous sommes à un tournant. Nous prenons la direction d'une alimentation plus durable. Pour concrétiser cette ambition, Sodexo collabore avec, vous l'avez entendu, WWF depuis 2010, notamment sur les recettes bas carbone. Dans la lutte pour préserver notre planète, chaque levier compte et l'un des plus puissants est notre façon de nous nourrir. Et pour aller plus loin dans l'exploration de ces enjeux, nous allons à présent accueillir sur scène le Global Food Lead Scientist du WWF. Pour ceux qui en ont besoin, n'oubliez pas vos casques de traduction pour ne pas manquer une miette de ce discours. Please give a very warm welcome to Brent Loken.
Thank you very much, Louise. Thank you for the invitation. It's a huge honor to be here. It's a huge honor to be among fellow change makers like yourselves, each one of us trying to solve that food puzzle and putting it together to figure out how we can make the world a better place. So why are we here? We're talking about food, obviously. And the great thing about food is food binds us. Food connects us. We all love to talk about it. We all love to eat it. And I think each one of us can think back to a significant event in our lives that revolves around food. Now, my own significant event with food happened when I was in the jungles of Borneo. And I was working with the Dayak people to protect their forests, to save orangutans and save these iconic species like the clouded leopards. And while living there and working there for almost 6 years, one of the things that I realized is almost every single conversation that I had came back to food. Food and the central importance of food to the local Dayak culture. Food and the central importance of it to their ceremonies that they had. Food and the central importance to saving the forests. So I very quickly knew that we were not going to be able to protect these iconic places like the rainforest of Borneo without addressing food. Now, why is that the case? Well, because food systems are the number one threat to people and also to our earth. They overexploit areas. For example, 40% of all land uses food. 70% of all water that we use goes directly into food. And up to 40% of all the food that we eat is either lost or wasted. Overexploit and inefficient. Now, what is that leading to? Well, 70% of all biodiversity is from food and food systems. 30% of all greenhouse gas emissions comes from how we use food and what we eat. And 80% of nature loss. Now, the human side of it is not any better. Whereas still in 2024, between 10 to 12% of people don't have enough food to eat. Now, this fact still doesn't make sense to me. Whereas 1/3 of the people on this planet are either eating too much or eating the wrong things. And hidden in all of these facts is the underlying hidden cost of the food system, which amounts to about $10 trillion. Most of that from unhealthy diets. Now, last month, WWF published its landmark report, Living Planet Report. Where in this, it's a state of the planet. We publish it every 2 to 3 years. And what this report showed is really a system in peril. And we're seeing some of this perilous where we're looking at some of the places like the rainfalls that just happened in Spain. These massive, a year of rain which has fallen within 1 or 2 hours. Or we're seeing places like Brazil, which are now transforming from these rainforests into potentially dry, barren areas. Now, central to that, and central to some of this change that we're seeing on this planet, is the loss of the species. Since 1970, we've seen on average 73% decline in overall wildlife populations. Now, what is at the root cause of most of this? Food and food systems. Now, this sounds like a huge challenge, and it is a huge challenge, but this is a great part about food, is it's also a huge opportunity for every single person here. Is the world is finally waking up to the fact that we will not be able to achieve global goals. Companies are waking up to the fact that we cannot achieve company goals without addressing food and using it as a central solution to all the work that we do. But what do these solutions look like? Is there a one-size-fits-all solution? Absolutely not. As we travel around the world and work in different places, what we're seeing is that the solutions that we put forward for food will look very different in different countries. How we transform food systems in France will look very different than how we transform food systems in the US or Colombia or India or the Philippines or South Africa. And this is because food solutions are local. They're rooted in culture, values, norms, politics, and also the local environment. And we need to start understanding this in terms of how we put this together. Now, this is a puzzle that we're now starting to solve at WWF, is traveling the world, understanding the root causes and the root solutions for these country by individual country. And it's a bit like putting a puzzle together, and I'm not sure if you guys have ever worked on puzzles, but you know when you first throw the pieces onto this table, it's a mess. It doesn't make any sense. There's pieces everywhere. You don't know what that picture looks like. But as you start to sort the pieces into colors and shapes and edges, and you start to put them together, start to slowly piece it, a picture starts to emerge. And the picture that we want to emerge here is a healthy and sustainable food future for every single person on this planet. That is a picture. We're at the very beginning part of this journey, and what it is really looking like right now is where we're at, is we're throwing those pieces out there, we're just starting to sort them. But one of the first rules in terms of putting this great food puzzle together is we have to use a food systems approach. Now what that means is we need to be working on 3 different things. That means we have to be working on diets, food loss and waste, and change how we produce our food. All 3 things must be addressed by all people, all organizations, anybody working on food system transformation. Failure to work on one of those will actually preclude our chances of being able to achieve these goals. Now, WWF is working on this. We're working on local solutions, context-specific solutions, but also using a food systems approach, finding the right action for the right place. Another way of looking at it is like this. Obviously, we're not going to hammer a nail with a carrot, right? But sometimes it feels that way when we're trying to find solutions for the right place. We're taking a solution and we're applying the wrong solution in the wrong place. And this is something, whether you're working on dietary shifts or whether you're working on something else, you need to understand the local context of all the solutions that we're working on. Now, so far, I've used the term healthy and sustainable diets quite a bit. And I think we tend to throw that term out there quite a bit, that phrasing out there, as if everybody in this room should know what healthy and sustainable diets are. However, I think that if I was to go around and survey this room of approximately 150, 200 people, and ask each one of you, what is your definition of a healthy, sustainable diet? I'd probably get 200 different answers. Now, this is a problem. If we don't have a universal or single definition about what this is, or at least a common understanding. Now, this was a solution. This is something that we wanted to solve with the Eat Lancet Commission, which we launched back in 2015 and 2016. With this, we wanted to do 2 things. What is a healthy, sustainable diet? And what are the scientific targets for healthy diets and sustainable food systems? And can we produce food for 10 billion people without messing up our Earth? Now, humbly, this report very quickly in the last 5 years is now one of the top 10 most cited and most important studies out there, not only on food, but on anything, and it's received a lot of attention. So what is a healthy diet? Let's just start with that component. Essentially, this is what it looks like. So taking the targets and putting them down on a plate, you can see that it looks like this. Probably looks similar, fairly familiar to each one of us working on it, but essentially what it is half of your plate has to be composed of fruits and vegetables. A lot of whole grains, a little bit of starchy vegetables, which you can see in that small little brown sliver up there. Some dairy products, 1 to 2 servings per day only. 5 to 6 servings of animal source foods, that red sliver that you see right there, per week. One of those being red meat. A lot of plant source proteins. A little bit of sugar, but not very much, and unsaturated oils. This is a healthy diet. Now, when we came up with this diet only considers human health. It does not consider the environment. We wanted to model and say, if you wanted to optimize human health, what should we eat? we didn't want to let the environment influence what we should be eating. Now, lo and behold, when we modeled this, environmental impacts are low. So it's a win-win, good for people, good also for the earth. Now, which food group do you think received the most attention of all the food groups here? I bet you can guess, animal source foods. This is the one that people talked about more than anything else. Not the fruits and vegetables, not the plant source proteins, it was the animal source foods. Now the reason behind that, and there's a lot of controversy behind this, but one of the biggest reasons behind this is because animal source foods have huge impacts. From a land use perspective, 38% of all croplands are used just for livestock. 80% of all agricultural lands, grazing lands and also croplands, goes just to livestock. So if you play this story forward a little bit, increased consumption of animal source foods, we're adding another 2 billion people to the planet, what's going to happen? We're going to continue to cut forests, we're going to continue to convert lands, greenhouse gas emissions are going to continue to go up, and this is not a future that we can agree with. Now, are people eating like this around the world? Not even close. What this shows is how many Earths it would take if each one of us ate like people from each one of these countries. If you look at Argentina, if we all ate like meat-consuming individuals from Argentina, it would take 7.42 Earths. If we all ate like people from here, France, it would take about 5 Earths. It's only India and Indonesia that are eating within the environmental limits of Earth. Now, what is this mainly driven by? It's animal source foods is the main driver of this, and that is why they've received so much attention. Now, I do not want to demonize eating meat. And nowhere in this report have we ever said that you should not eat meat. Meat will always be a part of our diet in most parts of the world. What we are saying is we need to rebalance our consumption of meat. In a lot of the places, the G20 countries that you see here, we're eating a lot of meat and a lot of dairy. Whereas in most parts of the world, they can't afford to eat it. If we can rebalance that, we have a chance of keeping meat in our future for years to come. So can we feed 10 billion people by 2050 healthy, sustainable diets? Yes. But only if we do those 3 things that I talked about earlier. Shifting our diets, reducing how much we waste, and changing how we produce our food. Positive message, but massive changes have to happen in the years to come. So, coming back to the central notion of this talk, food is a key solution. And the great thing about food, and of those 3 goals that I talked about, the most important solution that we should be working on is dietary shifts. Dietary shifts have more of an impact than any other one of those actions. More than reducing food loss and waste, more than changing how we produce our food. And the great thing about dietary shifts is we have agency. We can go into the store and choose what we want to eat. It's harder to change farmers in terms of what they're producing. Now, I just want to focus on dietary shifts here for a bit. We've been traveling the world for the last couple of years, looking at what are the key actions that will have the most impact in countries around the world. We boiled them down to these 20 levers that you see here. These levers will work everywhere. Now, specifically to dietary shifts, what's consistently in the top 10 of all actions everywhere are the actions specific to diets. Experts from all over the world, whether it's in India or South Africa or here in Europe, consistently say that actions that involve dietary shifts will have the most impact in my particular country. For example, if you look at the first one up there, increasing the diversity of foods that we eat. People talk about the need for that. Why is this the case? Because currently 75% of our food comes from 12 plants and 5 animals only. Healthy people need a diversity of food. Healthy food systems do also. The second one is supporting smallholders up there. We can talk about dietary shifts all we want, but from what we're hearing from people on the ground, from smallholders, I was just in South Africa last week, What they're talking about is great. You can talk about the need to do this, but we need support to do it. If there is a demand for it, if the farmers aren't able to produce it, that's a really big problem. So any dietary shift, any work that we do also has to support farmers who are doing this. Education and knowledge, promoting healthy, sustainable food is also key levers that we see almost everywhere. Being able to talk about it, make food sexy, something interesting that we want to do. And the last one is the finances of it. We can talk about dietary shifts all we want, but if people walk into the store and they can't afford food, they will not buy it. It's probably the single greatest action that you can have in terms of if you want to change it, make healthy food affordable. Now, some reflections from some of the places that we've been in. This is from India, where some of the experts, what they talked about as dietary shifts is probably the single greatest thing that they can have and that they can do, especially post-COVID. There's an increasing awareness of the role that food plays and the need to be able to shift diets. Finding a food environment, making sure that food is there so that people have access to it. The demand side is the most important side. Working with governments. We have to start working with governments so that they put policies and regulations in place which enable companies and consumers to be able to make these particular changes. Again, staying with India, in 2023 was the year of the millets. They're doing a big push right now to bring back some of these ancient grains. This is really positive, and a lot of governments around the world are working towards increasing food system transformation, especially dietary shifts. This is positive, and we need to keep on working for this, but it's not happening fast enough. The ambition is not high enough yet to create that change. But we can't wait for governments to do this. What we have to do as individuals and as organizations is step up and create that demand which will bring governments along with us. Let me just go back here for a second. Here's a short video that I want to end with about how we can use education as a tool and the role that chefs can play in promoting healthy, sustainable, traditional foods.
México cuenta con una de las biodiversidades más grandes del mundo, pero que también la estamos perdiendo, y la pérdida tiene que ver con muchas cosas, pero tal vez la más importante tiene que ver con el desconocimiento.
Sí está en peligro la cocina tradicional, sobre todo la cocina saludable. La cocina que es a base de maíz, frijol, chile y calabaza.
Nosotros como cocineras dar las recetas, porque el día de mañana, para poderlas compartir, el día de mañana dicen, no, pues por lo menos la señora me enseñó a cocinar esto, y no se vayan perdiendo ni las comidas, ni las tradiciones, ni nuestra cultura.
A estos ingredientes para que tengan presencia en nuestra casa, en nuestra cocina, en nuestros mercados y gocemos de ellos.
Es el principio no solamente de cultura, es el complejo social que nos une a los mexicanos.
It is not only the basis of our culture, but also the social fabric that unites us as Mexicans. This is the power of food. Yes, food has the potential to have massive impacts on the planet and on our health, but food also has the potential to have massive impacts, positive impacts on each one of us and also on solving some of the major crises that we're facing today. The power is on your plate, and each one of us here has that power, whether you're chefs, whether you're parents, whether you're individuals, whether you work for organizations, or whether you're CEOs. Each one of you is a piece of that puzzle and has the power to make a lasting and transformative impact on the world that we live in. So with that, I would like to thank each one of you. I would like to thank you for being here, for the work that you're doing, for your interest in food. I would like to thank all of the chefs for the work that you're doing all over the world, because you play an absolutely central role to making this happen. The power is on your plate. Let's go use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent, for this great presentation, and thank you for empowering us as well. It's really galvanizing to hear that. A couple of questions, if you don't mind. Tonight, obviously, we are highlighting cooking talents from all over the globe, with 8 chefs, of course, from different countries. In your research, you kind of put the emphasis on composing with local produce and also cultural food habits. Do you see this as maybe a challenge or an opportunity to promote, of course, more sustainable food habits globally across the world?
Yeah, I mean, I see diversity as being both. I see it as being a bit of a challenge because when you think about all the countries out there and all the foods, and if we start to get into some of the ancient foods that are out there, there's a lot to choose from, right? So being able to sort through that is a bit of a challenge, but it's also a non-negotiable. We have to do it because, diversity is the key to health. It's the key to solving some of these crises. And I think there's a lot that we can actually learn from it. Now that's kind of the challenge that I pass back onto the chefs, is how can we rediscover some of that diversity and bring the general public along with us and make sure that we get some of that diversity onto shelves within the stores so people can also have access to it. And once they are able to see it, then be able to do something with it.
Okay, thanks, Bren. Last quick question. I wanted to talk about the Sodexo barometer. I believe you've heard about it. It's a study. It's been printed recently. One of the things that actually stands out is that people are really lacking inspiration when it comes to creating dishes. And I just wanted to share a quick story with you guys. I went to Cannes Film Festival, and at the festival, somebody asked me what I would like to eat, and I'd said, well, would be cool to have a vegetarian dish if possible. And they said to me, well, we'll give you a carrot sandwich. So I didn't feel that was really that inspiring, of course. So they weren't prepared for that at all. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Is this a marketing problem, or is this a sort of training problem? Do we need to train up chefs, or is it both of those?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic story, but it's also kind of a sad story as well.
Well, yeah, it's a bit like, I won't tell you where it was.
So from a training standpoint, we need it. I mean, I hear from chefs all over the world, and I hear from individuals, they just don't know how to cook this way. Their parents taught them to cook with meat being the center of the plate, and you put kind of maybe veggies off to the side. So when we're talking about all this stuff, they don't know what to do, and people are really busy. I've got 4 kids, so you walk into the store and you grab things. You grab what you kind of know, and you just make your food quickly. So we need to figure out how to train chefs, how to train individuals in order to be able to cook this way and do it in a way that is, easy, doesn't overcomplicate their lives. Now, the second point, the inspiration point, I was just in Mexico yesterday, and I saw a Pepsi. Maybe I shouldn't say Pepsi, but I saw a commercial on TV.
You can say what you want, don't worry about it.
Okay. And what was at the heart of this commercial was it was telling individuals to say, don't listen to chefs, and it mentioned chefs directly. Don't listen to your parents. Don't listen to anybody. Your food choices are your food choices, and nobody can tell you what to eat. And they proceeded with having hamburgers dipped into cheese, pizzas, deep-fried hot dogs in there, and it was marketed to young kids. Now, maybe inspiring to young kids, but the wrong message. We need to figure out how to inspire people and have the exact same message, but for healthy, sustainable diets. It's not being done yet, but that means we need to put as much money into the comms budget and into doing this as the other organizations are doing into maybe giving us the wrong message. So,
thank you, Brent, for this really interesting conversation. Please give him a huge round of applause.
Thank
Brent Loken.
Thank you.
Nous allons maintenant nourrir nos cœurs avec la passion et l'émotion de cette incroyable compétition culinaire. Alors tout a commencé en avril dernier avec un appel à candidature lancé dans les 45 pays où Sodexo est présent. Plus de 350 chefs se sont inscrits et ont participé aux compétitions régionales. À l'issue des finales régionales, ils ne sont plus que 8 chefs qui ont été choisis pour participer à cette grande finale internationale. Ils sont arrivés à Paris lundi et depuis, ils n'ont pas cessé de travailler. Et hier, enfin, c'était le grand jour, la finale où ils ont présenté leur plat, signature, 100% végétal, ainsi qu'un dessert créé à partir d'ingrédients mystères. On leur proposait en fait un mystery box, tout en intégrant une sorte d'approche anti-gaspillage dans cette compétition. Leurs créations ont été évaluées par un jury d'experts qui sont là ce soir, présidé par Frédéric Anton. Dans quelques instants, évidemment, nous allons les accueillir pour recueillir, évidemment, leurs impressions. Alors, est-ce que vous êtes prêts pour cette grande soirée et la 3e édition de Cook for Change? Yes? OK, on y va.
Welcome to the 2024 Sustainable Chef Challenge, Cook for Change. Which is a huge step forward. It's actually a first of its kind within our industry. It really focuses on sustainability and embedding it into the chef's kind of way of working. Chefs, you've got 10 minutes left.
Me inscribí en esta competición porque me permite crear y aparte ayudar al planeta.
L'univers de ma cuisine est vraiment le végétal, donc ce concours a vraiment beaucoup de sens pour moi.
I think to win, you've got to have a fight in you. There's got to be a competitiveness. Everyone else out there wants the same thing and you've got to beat them.
It's still a contest and yeah, I still want to win.
Je vais être la première.
Always on top.
It's a competition, you have to be focused.
É uma experiência muito incrível.
But yeah, if I win, it's good.
Que le meilleur gagne.
3, 2, 1, cook.
Dans le ton, bien sûr,
So that sets the scene. Excellence, taste, creativity, and sustainability. And to guide us and to shed some light on what's at stake in this competition, it's time to welcome the members of our exceptional panel of judges. The first is a multi-starred chef and who's won many awards, internationally recognized. He directs the prestigious Jules Verne restaurant in the Eiffel Tower, the Pré Catelan for Don Juan II, and more recently, the Ferme du Pré. He is the best worker in France. He defends a season-based cuisine, generous and innovative, that perfectly reflects the spirit of this competition. His place in the circle of French culinary excellence makes an ideal ambassador of him to judge this competition. Thanks for welcoming with me, Frédéric Anton. Good evening, Frédéric. How are you? Great, I'm fine. So you are chair of the panel of judges in this wonderful final. You're going to be judging a competition which is based on both culinary creativity and sustainable commitments. What does this mean for you to be on this panel of judges? Good evening, everyone, and thanks. I'm very happy to be this evening. Being on this panel of judges is really getting back to values that are important to me. Cuisine respects the seasons, and short circuit, and deliveries in harmony with the spirit of this competition, based on basic recipes, based on vegetables. This is a great way of training the new generations. The finalists have been training since the beginning of the week in sustainable cuisine in the Notre School. You saw them, you observed them with all the other chefs. What can you say about the talents that we're going to be discovering this evening? Well, one word, it's promising. The finalists that I observed have a sensitivity and a passion that you can feel in every plate, every dish they put together. They showed a real mastery of technique and a real commitment in their cooking. Sometimes they're surprising approaches, but always sincere and in respect of the theme. You're going to have the difficult task of handing over the award to the winner of this evening's proceedings. But before that, let's welcome the other members of the panel of judges on the stage. We are starting with Kate Austin. Please join us, Kate. Kate was the youngest chef to direct 2-star restaurants in Copenhagen. She marked history by becoming the first woman to win the Great British Menu with her main dish. Audacious and creative, she collaborates today with Sodexo to imagine new recipes for the modern recipes. Kate, c'est formidable de vous avoir avec.
Accueillons maintenant Charles.
Let's welcome now Charles Guillois. He's used to challenges, important challenges. Recently, he directed the design of menus for the Athletes' Village for the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. It's a huge challenge. Happy to have you with you. Thank you. Charles Guillois. Then we have Florian Hartmann. Come join us, Florian. He's a former starred chef who has joined us for Rational, one of the main partners in Sodexo for 50 years. They've been developing reference equipment and supporting the Sustainable Chef Challenge since the very first edition. So welcome, Florian. Maintenant, notre dernier juriste, c'est Loïc Mann. Loïc, come join us. C'est un expert. He's working on responsible cuisine. This competition represents everything he's trying to implement on a daily basis and to hand over to the young. Thank you, Lloyd Mann. Thank you, sir.
A huge round of applause. This is our jury. I'd like you to go and take your seats, three of you here, and Florian and Lloyd. Come and join me. Take your seats, guys. Frédéric, prends votre place. We're about to launch, of course, the very first celebration of this evening. A first prize, in a way, for all of our finalists here tonight. They did it. They earned their place in this international final, and they can be, and I will say it to all of you here, very, very proud of themselves. Well done to all of you. Lloyd and Florian, it's over to you to call upon the 8 champions in the room tonight. Go for it.
Fantastic, thank you. First of all, bring in the flavours from Poland, Michael Fabiaski.
Come and join us, Michael. Chef.
Adam Collison working his magic from the UK.
Adam, come and join us, Adam.
And sharing his love of food from Chile is Christopher Paprides.
Christopher. Come and join us, Christopher. Florian.
And our Spice King from India, Gaurav Pawar.
Well done.
And inspiring us with the flavours of the Middle East, Nabila Kabul.
Adding his flair from the US, Ryan Hickey.
Ryan. Fantastic.
And inspire us with a love of food from France, Sandrine Lariche.
And finally, John Oliveira de Conceiro, bringing his passion from Brazil.
Yes. So congratulations to all of you. Félicitations, of course. Lloyd, maybe you have a few words, a little message for our candidates this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you, Louise. First of all, congratulations. It's been an exceptional journey. I'm really, really proud of the work that you've done, not just over the last few days, but the work that you do every day, day in, day out. It's the work that you do around bringing sustainability to life. As Brent said earlier, it's the link between planet, health, nutrition, and sustainable diets. You guys are the epitome of what we're trying to do at Sodexo, so I really congratulate you. You're all winners already, so no matter what the outcome tonight, there's a great success for all of you. Well done. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Florian, why is it really essential for you to be here alongside our chefs this evening?
Yes, sustainable cooking for me is way beyond that. Just choosing the right ingredients is also about take the right cooking techniques, take the right equipment to cook sustainable, use less water, lose less energy. And for me as a product manager with Rational, we are working day by day on this topic to make our cooking equipment even more efficient. And being here tonight, supporting these chefs, it fits perfectly in our commitment with a sustainable cooking.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Florian. Well done to you, grand bravo. Group together. We'd like to just take the time to immortalize this moment while I've got all the chefs on stage. So group together for a quick group photo. Where is my photographer? I can't see him. He's here. Oh, he's right here in front of my nose. Nicolas, take a photo, everybody. Everybody would like a photo of our chefs together. Please give them a huge round of applause. Fantastic. I'll let you head back to your seats and we'll be seeing some of you up on stage in a couple of minutes. Prenez place, s'il vous plaît. Voilà, merci Loïd et Florian. Vous pouvez rejoindre en effet vos amis. Nous allons maintenant passer à la suite.
We're going to move on to the rest of our program. I promised you some exclusive photos of the finals that took place yesterday at the Le Notre School. A wonderful in the Rungis Marché. It's time to discover what happened during the finals for our first winning candidates. Let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Adam Collison. I represented Sodexo for UK and Ireland. Today I'll be cooking the whole cauliflower. So I take all the leaves off, and then part of them are roasted for crisps, and the other part are shredded up to make pickled kimchi. Working sustainably for me is now a crucial part of our business. You have to be organised because the time flies so quickly. I'm taking part in this competition because I just love competing. The thing I like about competitions is the atmosphere. The hardest part for me today was the dessert because it was a mystery box. The dessert I'm going to do is beetroot and orange chocolate brownie, which will be vegan, and then I'm going to make a silken tofu and dark chocolate mousse with a beetroot coulis. It's been an honour working in such a fantastic kitchen at an amazingly world-renowned site with some amazing chefs.
Mi nombre es Christopher Paredes, vengo de Chile. Prepararé un plato llamado Sabores del Bosque. Lo principal son 4 variedades de hongos, o con arvejas, hay menta, tenemos habas, una salsa de puerro y un fresco coulis de perejil. Mi plato es sustentable, porque seleccioné dentro de los 50 alimentos del futuro. Son productos que son de temporada. La idea es que este plato puedan replicarlo en cualquier parte del mundo de forma individual o masiva, ¿no? Lo vivido durante estos días es realmente espectacular. Utilizando la caja misteriosa en donde simulaba una lasaña, yo utilicé el zapallo, utilicé piña, utilicé pera, higos y hice unas ganas con tofu. Yo me inspiré en el amor que veía que mis padres colocaban a la comida, y quise transmitir también eso mismo a las personas que yo quiero, una de las cosas.
Je m'appelle Nabila, je suis chef de cuisine à Abu Dhabi. Aujourd'hui, je vais préparer un plat qui est des pommes de terre farcies avec des quinoa, avec des grenades. Mon but, c'est faire une combinaison entre la cuisine arabique et la cuisine occidentale. La recette, elle demande beaucoup de technique parce que je dois farcir les pommes de terre. Ça demande beaucoup de temps. Je sens que je suis fière de moi. Je suis quelqu'un qui est créatif, je suis bosseuse. C'est enrichissant de travailler avec Sodexo parce que je travaille avec plusieurs nationalités. Mon dessert, c'est parfait, légumes et fruits, à base d'ananas et de citrouille. C'est la chose qui est spéciale que j'ai utilisée et je suis réussie à le faire. Je suis hyper fière d'être ici et de participer à ce challenge. Je vais être la première. Je suis ici parce que je veux gagner.
Sou John Oliveira, chefe de cozinha na Sodexo Brasil, São Paulo. Vou preparar uma polenta com um queijo vegano de castanha de caju, com azeite trufado, uma lentilha caramelizada e um azeite de hortelã e um sagu ao vinho. A parte que deu mais trabalho na minha receita foi o queijo, porque leva um processo para hidratar a castanha, para poder triturar e finalizar. Eu evito o desperdício na cozinha treinando minha equipe, mostrando que é importante o uso integral do legumes, do vegetal. Sim, o uso integral do hortelã. Eu não usei só as folhas, eu usei o uso integral dele, os talos também. Sim, quando eu estou na cozinha, eu fico muito ansioso, sim, fiquei bastante nervoso, mas consegui controlar a respiração, deu tudo certo. A caixa misteriosa para mim foi fácil porque eu treinei e nesse treinamento no Brasil a gente tinha maçã, tinha pera, então eu fiz uma maçã recheada com ganache, com hortelã e pera. Esse tipo de desafio me estimulou sim a criatividade.
Bon, on a déjà l'eau à la bouche.
So,
Frédéric,
our mouths are watering. Frédéric, what did you observe? What, in your opinion, what is the recipe for success for responsible cooking? Is it the product? Is it the techniques? Is it both? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to not analyze it, but I want to tell you a story that I actually lived through. A few people that are here were with me during that a few years ago when we got the concession from the Eiffel Tower. What was sustainable? What's important? And this is a product that is transformed and totally transformed, because why? In the specifications, there was one very important thing, is empty. We wanted to have no garbage coming down from the Eiffel Tower. So how do you do that? You bring down everything in the elevator, but maybe not in the garbage, but maybe the clients were going to help us bring things down directly, which means that we have to get them to eat everything. And we had a cauliflower, so we asked them to produce a recipe using a cauliflower. I like to tell this story.
On nous avait demandé de faire une broche un peu de la carte qui pouvait être servie à la
to do a menu that you could actually serve all of which in the Eiffel Tower.
Mais j'avais mis en place une crème du baril, qui est un grand classique de la cuisine française. C'est une crème de chou-fleur.
We used a cream of cauliflower, and at the center of the table, there were some 10 people tasting around the table. I put the cauliflower in all different conditions, in all different ways, in all the ways it could possibly be eaten. It was in the center of the table, and that was the decoration. I explained that it wasn't the centerpiece, it was the cauliflower that they're going to be eating. And ultimately, simultaneously, we presented the various types and parts of the inside, the outside, and the foot of this cauliflower. And every time a plate would show up, and they would taste all of those different parts of that plant. So you have zero wastage here, because you've eaten all the wastage. So that's an important thing, because you buy the products as close as possible to what you really need, and we can fully cook the products without wastage. And that's an enormous, it's a wonderful work to do on a daily basis. It's very rewarding.
Je n'ai pas répondu bien sûr à la question.
I didn't answer your question, but I think that the candidates were very relevant along these lines, and we worked very much with their ideas, with their culture, with their products, and they harmonized all of that in phase and informed this cuisine that we tasted, which was intelligent and relevant.
Merci, Frédéric.
Thank you, Frédéric.
We heard
Kate,
tonight that plants forward dishes still need to prove themselves in a way, need to be maybe a little bit more inspiring to seduce us. You're known for your creativity in the kitchen. How important is the experimentation side of things, and did you see that with our candidates?
It's hugely important. I think we definitely saw it with the candidates. I think first and foremost, you have to learn the rules to break the rules. A lot of cooking technique comes from the French, and I'm not just saying that because of the company. But I think you need to learn those basics and you need to understand it, and the chefs demonstrated that they did, and then you can twist and change and create something more imaginative than before.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah. You can applaud, of course. Il est temps à présent de découvrir les
It's now time to discover the 4 other finalists and their recipes. Let's have a look.
My name is Chef Michael Fabiszewski. Hello, my name is Chef Michael Fabiszewski. I'm the main executive chef in Sodexo, Poland. Today I prepare my sentimental dish. It's carrot, which looks like a salmon with edible skin. I prepared this skin with nori and rice paper. They really taste like a salmon. It's really delicious. Sustainability is important, in my opinion, especially for me, because I'm a father. I want to change world for my son. Meeting with our judges is a big honor for me, because they are the great chefs. I want to be like them. So it's really, really exciting for me. Winning this competition for me means dream comes true. My dessert is sharing typical Polish cake. We call it szarlotka. I use old part of my ingredients. All bananas with skin. Everything is in hand jury.
Je suis Sandrine Riche, je travaille chez Sodexo en Seine-Saint-Denis, je représente la France. J'ai cuisiné un rouleau de céleri à la livèche, cuit en basse température sous vide. Donc j'ai fait des bandes de céleri que j'ai étalées et après j'ai mis de la livèche, des feuilles d'épinards pour mettre de la couleur et j'ai tout roulé le céleri en entier pour faire un joli rond. Mon plat est 100% végétal et 100% durable. Il faut réduire notre consommation de viande qui pollue énormément et travailler le végétal, c'est l'avenir. Donc ce concours a vraiment beaucoup de sens pour moi. Travailler pour Sodexo, c'est quand même porteur d'avenir. On essaye de faire en sorte de travailler pour le végétal, de faire attention à l'anti-gaspi, à la durabilité. C'est vraiment un point fort, je pense, de l'entreprise Sodexo. Pour la boîte mystère, moi j'ai utilisé du légume et du fruit, donc je suis partie sur la citrouille. J'ai fait un palais de citrouille comme une base de tarte, de fond de tarte. Ensuite, j'ai fait des lamelles de poire pour avoir du cru et du cuit. J'ai fait aussi un coulis de betterave et poire. Et avec des morceaux de betterave, j'ai fait un pickles à base de citron et gingembre pour amener un peu de peps à ma recette. Je suis très fière de ce que j'ai présenté. C'est sorti vraiment comme je le voulais, comme les idées que j'avais. Et vraiment, tout était au top.
Il faut qu'ils nous démontrent et nous montrent aujourd'hui leur travail. Donc, ce qu'ils vont faire dans un concours, c'est ce qu'ils vont pouvoir faire demain dans leurs établissements. Donc, une importance de créativité, de recettes et puis de technique.
Hello everyone, my name is Chef Gaurav, working as an executive sous chef with Sodexo, supporting leading tech company in India. I would love to present my dish which is very close to my heart, that is jackfruit jubilee and millet medley. Jackfruit is like basic staple in Indian cuisine where it perfectly blends with my millet. There are 6 elements in my recipe which there are very staple and very local in India, which has less carbon footprint. Taking this opportunity and coming over here and working along with those chefs, it is one of the greatest opportunity that I have ever had in my life. Coming over here and presenting India, it is one of the best thing in itself. But winning the award is another story. The dessert was like pumpkin and coconut mousse, in which I used from pulp to seed and the skin of pumpkin with the coconut base, and I give the punch of the figs in it. There was a pressure. Now I'm feeling relaxed and relief. But yeah, if I win, it's good.
My name is Ryan Hickey. I'm an executive chef in the United States. Today I'll be cooking a vegan kale gnocchi on a celery root puree with shaved beets and blanched kale stems. Curiosity is very important when thinking sustainably because it requires you to think outside the box to come up with new ways to use things that, may not have been used before. I'm taking part in this competition because I feel like it's important for the world to understand how important cooking sustainably is. And I'm happy to represent the United States to do so. Not just chefs have a job, everyone has a job every day to make sure that they're practicing sustainability and focusing on making the world a better and greener place. So for dessert, I made a compressed apple with a spiced pumpkin and coconut milk puree. The mystery box gave the challenge a lot of fun because it brought an element to the challenge that put all the competitors on the same playing field. As a chef, we have a lot of responsibility when it comes to being sustainable. We have to make sure we're doing our due diligence. This is a great experience, one I'll never forget.
Quel voyage incroyable pour nos candidats, on les a entendus.
That's
Avant
the incredible voyage for our candidates. Before we get to the handover,
What
about how's the tasting? What's your general feeling, Frederick, about the finalists and the level of this competition, perhaps the quality as well? There's a lot of technique and a lot of creativity. That was, I found, the salient feature. It's kind of astonishing. Cuisine, I mean, you've got meat and fish usually, but here you wind up with just an array of vegetables. And how do you identify and help to emphasize certain flavors? The seasoning, its creativity. You're showcasing a vegetable by its form, by how perhaps it's melting in your mouth. It all depends what you do with it. Maybe a little bit of lemon juice or maybe some pomegranate. It's going to be relevant and surprising. Maybe it's a carrot that's just cooked in water, but it's kind of insipid. But we're not going to eat that every day. So maybe we could have something else. And very simply, a little story about a recipe, if you don't mind. 25 years ago, I was cooking carrots, and I was doing a confit de carottes, gingerbread style. And it said Anton can sell us carrots at the price of caviar, because you're able to sublimate the carrot with and you could serve that in a high street restaurant. It's relevant in a product so long as you can showcase the product, and they did it. Charles succeeded in combining pleasure with friendliness, and that's a certain savoir-faire. We're talking about the Olympics in 2024. How did our chefs deal with that? It's true that combining pleasure and sustainability is a culinary challenge. It requires technique. It requires creativity. But what's essential, if you want sustainable cuisine to be sustainable, but for me, sustainability doesn't mean only reducing wastage or the carbon footprint. It's really making people love the taste, and it has to be a healthy recipe. In Sodexo, movements towards inclusion of vegetables in our offering and in our recipes and in our menus. And our chefs have really demonstrated to what extent they are bathing in creativity in their recipes during that period. They're listening very closely, and the translation that Ryan is listening to, I can see a smile on his face.
We're getting closer now to the much anticipated moment of the award ceremony, of course. These guys are waiting for this moment and have been all day, and they can't handle it anymore. But just a couple more questions. Nobody actually knows the results, of course. We've kept this very, very secret. Nobody knows what's been happening today. Vous allez découvrir les résultats dans quelques instants.
You're going to discover the results in just a few moments.
Everybody was sort of curious to know about the criteria. I mean, how did you judge their recipes? I believe it was actually very challenging for them. That's what I heard.
Yeah, absolutely. So we intentionally made it very challenging, and we broke the criteria into 2 key areas. So the first one was a recipe that they developed in the regionals, and they took through to the final. That criteria is very much based on plant-based dish that's sustainable, low carbon, and uses kind of food waste avoidance techniques. And just to give you an idea, an example of what low carbon looks like. So at Sodexo, we've defined low carbon as under 900 grams of carbon. And a typical meat dish, say a lasagna, would be around 4 kilos. So there's a huge challenge there in itself for our chefs. But that was far too easy, so we added a separate step, which was the mystery box. And really this area just challenges the chefs to think around how they cook with passion, to cook a healthy dish that's through intuition. So it really challenges them and makes them think on the spot, and we heard from Ryan how that puts them on a level playing field. So part of the criteria was marking them on innovation, how applicable the dish was for the business, but also how sustainable it was as well.
So this is, from what I hear from you, more than a simple contest. We're going much further here and looking at sort of sustainable habits, which is integrated into the criteria there. Could you maybe tell us a few words just quickly about the 3 awards that we're going to be handing out in a few minutes?
Yeah, sure. So the first 3 awards that we have are, the first one is around food waste optimization. So the chef that has utilized all of the ingredients throughout the dish and is really best placed for that. The second one is around presentation. So who has made the most beautiful dish? How does it look, and is it kind of aesthetically pleasing? And then the final one is the grand final award. So who has met the criteria and scored the most?
Wonderful, very clearly done. Thank you, Lloyd. Nous allons maintenant découvrir.
We're now going to discover the first prize in this international final Cook for Change. It's for optimization of food wastage. And to hand over this prize, I'd like to welcome Charles to join us on stage. Charles.
Alors ce prix met en avant
this prize puts forward a challenge for everyone in cuisine using the whole product in a savorous recipe without revealing too much. What impressed you the most in the way the finalist executed this particular criteria? Well, for this award, we used a sweet recipe. As a reminder, they got to the final with their a salted recipe, a savory recipe, but they also had to do a sweet one. But they discovered the products that they had in a mystery box only the day before, so they didn't have much time to think about it. And for designing the recipe they were going to produce the next day. So they used a lot of that creative impulse to put that recipe together. And that's really what impressed us the most, is the usage of all parts of the product in the recipe. I'm not going to say more because I don't want to be punished. So it's time to bring up the envelope with the name of the winner. Thank you. Charles.
Prenez votre temps.
Take your time.
Le suspense est à son comble. Il prend son temps.
The suspense is tangible.
Et le vainqueur est...
And the winner is...
Michal.
Michal.
Michel! Michael! Félicitations, congratulations! Woo! He's happy. Here you go. Your award. Fantastic. Woo! I'm going to ask you a question first. Don't go anywhere. A quick question. So, first of all, obviously, there you go. Your name is on the paper, of course. Take a look. You can't quite believe it, I don't think. What does it feel like, Michael, to receive this prize this evening? Tell us how you're feeling.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, there's so many emotions.
Beaucoup d'émotions.
Oh, yes. What can I say? Oh, my God. nervous. I'm sorry. I'm really happy. I'm so proud. It's a huge prize for me, huge prize for Sodexo Poland. Thanks for my team. Thanks Marta, Marcin, Iza. Thanks to be here. And the global chefs, you are great. Thank you for your support. Thank you, everybody. I love Sodexo. I love Cooking for Challenge. We can together change the world. Thank you.
Charles, vous l'aurez compris, Michael, don't go, stay here. We want to do a photo together. Just a word from Charles. Charles, peut-être un mot pour Michael. I will translate as well for you, so you understand.
Bravo à toi pour ta recette. Et c'est vrai que la recette était complètement dans la...
Thank you for your recipe. It was totally in the approach of this competition with the full use of the banana. Maybe you could tell us the story of your recipe.
It's completely aligned with what you are asked to do with the competition. You used everything as was directed, and it was tasted good as well. So maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit about your recipe in just a few words. Do you mind?
In just a few words.
C'est un secret, Charles, mais bon.
My main inspiration is the Polish szarlotka, of course, and the banoffee, because I prepare toffee with banana, and I add Polish juniper. And I think I'm in France, so I create something like a millefeuille.
Millefeuille, comme un millefeuille,
yeah,
parce qu'il est en France.
So I don't have any phyllo, so I must prepare my phyllo. So I prepare simple sugar syrup. I boil the skin of bananas in this syrup. I baked this skin in the Ivario.
Yes.
Next I put to the hot oil, and that's it.
That's great, Michael. That is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stand together for a photograph. Photographer is here. Stand together for a photograph. We want to immortalize every moment we can for our chefs this evening. Please give them a big round of applause again. Oh, wonderful, incredible. Michael. And merci beaucoup, Charles, évidemment.
Thank you, Charles, so much. Now, we're going to move on to the second prize with the visual impact of the dish, the most beautiful dish.
And to present this award, I'd like to invite Kate to come and join me, please. Kate. My dear Kate, as we discussed with Brent Loken a little bit earlier on, the presentation can absolutely transform the dining experience. Without, again, revealing the name of the winner, what impressed you the most about his or her presentation then?
So I think we eat with our eyes first, and this chef demonstrated beautiful presentation. It was super sharp, very clean, and they clearly understood how to present the dish.
Wonderful. Okay, very clear. It's time to find out who the second winner is tonight. Please, can we have the envelope? Kate, I would like you to announce the name of the winner of the Best Presentation Awards.
And the winner is Sandrine.
De la France.
Sandrine from France. Congratulations, Sandrine.
Wow, Sandrine, bravo!
Congratulations, Sandrine.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sandrine. Comment ça se passe pour vous? Comment vous vous sentez ce soir?
How do you feel this evening
Comment vous vous sentez après avoir reçu cet
after
award?
receiving this award?
Allez-y, essayez
Go for
encore. C'est bon?
Non, c'est bon.
C'est mieux comme ça.
Oui, c'est mieux. Ouais, c'est très impressionnant déjà.
I'm very impressed, actually. There's a lot of people.
Merci à tous ceux qui ont cru en moi,
Thanks
qui
to
m'ont
everybody who
accompagné,
believed in me, who helped me along, who stood with me
ces
throughout the process,
entraînements.
and the training. And
Voilà, c'est-
Elle est
On
très
perd un peu les mots.
impressionnée, c'est vrai.
I'm
Thank
very-
you so
I'm
much for
very
everybody that
emotional.
sort of helped her along her way and brought her to this stage in her life, and she's feeling really, really happy this evening. Maybe, Kate, you have a word for Sandrine as well.
So I think congratulations, first of all, but this is a challenging industry, and I would say celebrate the wins, because it's not always winning, so well done.
Elle dit, c'est difficile cette industrie, et profiter et célébrer parce que c'est extraordinaire quand on gagne. Bravo. Group together for a photo, the photographers here. Wonderful. Thank you. Nous y sommes. C'est le...
so this is a moment you've all been waiting for, where we're going to discover the name of the winner of Cook for Change 2024. And for this special moment, I'd like to invite the chairman of the jury, Frédéric Anton, to join us on stage, who's the head of the panel of judges.
Alors, on aime bien tout savoir comment ça se passe.
We love to know how it happens behind the scenes. Did you have any fights in the members of the panel of judges, or was it hard to reach a conclusion? Did you fight? Was that the question?
No, quand on respecte le sujet,
we didn't fight, but when you respect the subject, when you have the intelligence of creating something,
qui soit bonne.
that's good, basically, so that we can please as many people as possible in the panel of judges. Sometimes it's pretty easy. Obviously, the ratings managed, we tested separately, and everybody assigned a mark, but obviously there can be discussions. I like this one, I like that one. But the numbers matter, because you look at the assessment of every dish with specific criteria, and we wind up, when it's well cooked, it's well cooked. You can't have one, otherwise you're not there. It can't be raw. And some things it's too salty or not salty enough. What shows up is when you test. It's what happens every day in a restaurant. You're going to be eating it. You can say it was hot, it was good, it was cold, it was the seasoning wasn't good. That's it. So starting from that point, we agreed. And then there were two awards that were given here. We assessed what was the most beautiful dish, the one that respected the subject the most, and we succeeded in agreeing on the winner. So we're going to know soon the name of the winner, just after this.
Chef, you've got 5 minutes left. Chef, you've got 5 minutes left.
If I won, then that will be the biggest achievement of my life.
We've come together and realized what a difference we can all make if we all cook for change.
Vous avez tous excellé.
Everything is in the hands of the jury.
Donc la tension a été à son comble à l'école Le Nôtre.
Tensions running high, suspense as well here in this wonderful venue. Frederick, I think we can't wait any further, can we? Let's get that envelope over.
Vous allez nous dévoiler, bien
So,
sûr,
let's unveil the winner's name.
du grand
Tell us,
vainqueur
who's the big
for
winner
change.
of Cook for Change
2024.
2024?
La personne a réussi grâce
So,
à sa cuisine,
the winner
sa
won
pertinence
thanks to
dans
his
ses
fabulous
choix, ses
cooking,
produits,
his
sur sa
excellent
créativité,
choice,
et
his
il
ingredients, his
s'appelle
creativity,
Adam Collison.
and it's Adam Collison.
Adam! UK. C'est la Grande-Bretagne à l'honneur ce soir.
So the UK winner, England.
Hand over the award. Fantastic. Well done.
Félicitations.
Adam, so wonderful. How are you feeling? How are you feeling having won this award tonight? I'll give you a microphone, or Frederick, maybe you can give it here. Here we go. Try that one.
Very shocked. It's an honour. I've had an amazing week with this team and the judges, working with some amazing chefs. But the biggest thing I'll take away from it is these guys in front of me. It's been truly emotional.
C'était une aventure humaine avec ces gars-là, surtout.
Je pense en plus il y avait une.
I think they worked beautifully together. It was a genuine brigade in the kitchen. And then, of course, well, there's always a final winner.
Kitchen with all of you guys, and it was a great human adventure, shall we say, as far as that's concerned. A last word, maybe. How are you feeling?
Very nervous. I'd rather be cooking that dish again.
Il est très stressé, mais il est très heureux, bien sûr, ce soir. Mettez-vous ensemble pour une photo stand.
Okay.
I'll take the microphones, of course. Congratulations, Adam. C'est
an amazing final. Come all around me, please. This is the third edition of Cook for Change.
Congratulations to our finalists tonight. You really inspired us. Thank you very much. Thank you to our incredible jury. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you to la Gaieté Lyrique. Un grand merci à nos.
Thanks to the Gaieté Lyrique,
all
the guests who have been with us this evening, and obviously we'll meet up for next year for a fresh edition of Cook for Change, Sustainable Chef Challenge Sodexo. See you soon.
Well done. J'ai un petit mot pour tout le monde à la fin, pour aller boire un coup. Chers invités, pour vous, c'est pas encore la fin. Place maintenant à l'extérieur.